All right. Hello. Welcome back to the Bomber Briefing. I'm your host, Drew Miller. I coach the offensive lineup here. And today I'm joined by three of the best. So I'll let them introduce themselves. Colin, why don't you start us off?
Hey, everybody. I'm Colin Norton, a redshirt senior offensive lineman. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Hey, my name's Austin Bush. I'm from North Carolina, and I play free safety, and I'm going to be a junior this year.
My name's Hayden Richardson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a finance and accounting major, and I'm a sophomore quarterback this upcoming year.
Awesome. And I think kind of the common theme that we're looking at today is you guys are all national guys. And Ithaca, we are really a national program here, and we take a lot of pride in finding the best players wherever they are. And so what I want to talk about first and really dive into is kind of how each one of you found Ithaca and what are some things that stood out to you and attracted you to Ithaca during your recruiting process. So Colin, why don't you start us off and kind of take us through what that process was like for you?
So I had the privilege of meeting the coaching staff at the Penn camp in Philadelphia. And from the moment I met him, I knew that I felt something different about them. I felt like they were 100% genuine and some people that I wanted to learn more from. Then eventually I came up for a visit and fell in love with the area. And 4 years later, here I am.
That's great. Authenticity, man. That's really important. Hayden, what about you?
Yeah, mine was definitely a little bit different. So I think the thing with social media now is it's so easy to reach out to people, and a bunch of the coaching staff members actually reached out to me on Twitter. I had been following them previously, having looked at the school, and hadn't visited at that time, but they reached out to me, and then one thing led to another. I went to a game day visit that fall, and my mom and I really loved everything we saw. The coaching staff really took great care of us and everything. And then I think that's kind of when I knew it was the place for me.
No doubt. Wonders of social media. We're on there. We're like cockroaches, man. We're just everywhere out there. Austin, what about you?
Mine is also pretty different. Most of my recruiting happened during the COVID times, everything shut down. So I didn't get any visits or anything like that. All my recruiting was pretty much done over Zoom calls with Coach Swanstrom. So I also went to the Penn camp like Nort did, and Swanstrom got my information from that and stuff. So he reached out to me, and I just did some Zoom calls pretty much just with him. And he just told me a lot about the program and stuff. It's a great school for physical therapy, great football program. And I just the more I looked at it, it just became undeniable to me that this was the best place for me to go.
No doubt. I think the academics of physical therapy, that's definitely a huge part. And we'll kind of circle back to that. But really, I think the common Hayden and Colin, what you guys talked about is it was awesome talking to the coaches, but then once you got up into Ithaca, it was man, it just clicked like that. And so what are some things that, hey, I got up into the town, what really stood out to you? Was there some stuff that you weren't expecting, how good it was actually going to be when you got up there? Hayden, does anything stick out?
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't expecting as much of a college town as there was. I knew it was a good college town, and I heard lots of things about it. But I think once I kind of got there, I kind of realized, oh, okay, this is why they call it a top 10 college town, no doubt. And so, I mean, just having all those students from both schools, both Ithaca and Cornell, right there, just makes things so lively. And so there's always kind of stuff to do, whether it's going down to the Commons or other parts of downtown. It just makes it a great area and really convenient for both getting there and getting back to campus as well.
I like it. All right, real quick, what's the best restaurant down in the Commons? Colin, you go first.
Ithaca Ale House.
All right, Austin, next. You can't say the Ale House.
Oh, man. I think it's called La Vida or something like that. It's a Mexican restaurant. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, very good. Hayden, what about you?
Oh, man, this is tough. I was going to say Ithaca House. I'll go with Thai. What is it? The Taste of Thai. I like Taste of Thai down there. Yeah.
Like a little bit different. Great. All right, Colin, what about you? What stood out when you got up and you saw it in person? Was there some stuff that you weren't expecting?
I would say it's one of the things that stood out had to be the people. Comparatively to other visits I took, I felt more welcomed here. I felt felt like a more of a general sense of community, and I felt like I could see myself as a part of that group one day, and it played out just exactly as I thought.
No doubt. I think that's great. And I think that's something that we say as coaches all the time. The number one recruiters we have are actually our players, because we recruit high quality guys, and then they can turn around, and when prospects come and visit, they see the type of person that we have on our team, like y'all three. And it's a really good feeling. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about travel, because I think when you're a national recruit and you're a guy maybe from North Carolina and you're thinking, oh man, how in the world do I get to Ithaca, New York? Awesome. Why don't you talk about that? What does your travel look like? Is it really that difficult as people think?
I'll say, I wouldn't say it's that difficult. Normally when I come up for the summer, I drive up and stuff just because it's a lot easier to get all my things up and stuff. And my parents like to come with me so they can, look at my new dorm room or whatever it is, like say goodbye. And then normally like for breaks and stuff, I'll fly home out of Syracuse. So I have a friend who lives like right outside the Syracuse area. So normally he drives me up to the airport whenever he goes home. He goes, and I just fly right out of there and get home. So it's really not too bad. It's normally just like 1 day travel plan. I'm home, leave in the morning, home by that night.
That's perfect. Bombers helping bombers. That's great. Colin, what about you?
So for me, it's to Cleveland, it's a 4.5, 5 hour drive. It's not that bad at all. It's actually straight shot. Just go 86 or I-90 to 86, and you're right there. The 13, you're right there. Like for me, it's a drive I've done many times now, and plan on doing several times more. And it's not that big deal at all. Throw on an audio book and you're cruising.
What's your best audiobook that you listen to on your drive?
Oh, so my sophomore year, I listened to the entire Game of Thrones series, and so I'd have to say my favorite one of those books had to be the third one, A Storm of Swords. But
That's
I like that. Or now I'm finishing up a book Coach Turper recommended. It's Swagger. It's Jimmy Johnson's autobiography. It's very good. I have like 15 minutes left. I'll probably finish that this afternoon. But that's something I love to do, because it turns a boring drive into, oh, you can learn well.
No doubt. That's great. Those are fantastic. That's a great Colin Norton book club recommendation right there. Swagger, Jimmy Johnson. Hayden, what about you? I assume probably a little bit more similar to Austin's story, right?
Yeah. So it's not too far off from him. I actually, a lot of the time I'll take the hour bus. Has a shuttle that takes you from Ithaca up to Syracuse. So you just have to get to downtown somehow. So I'll either Uber or just get one of my buddies to drive me down there to drop me off at the bus stop. And then I actually took one ride up with Bush this past winter. It was like winter or spring or something. We actually ended up going together. So it was kind of funny. I had no idea he was going to be there. So I can also fly out of Ithaca Airport as well. I've done that a couple times, and it's really convenient. Only problem with that is like it's usually not straight shot like it is to Syracuse from Atlanta Airport. So usually have some sort of layover in like DC or New York.
No doubt. I love that you guys are riding together. As Coach Hatcher said, bombers never walk alone. So that's perfect with it. All right. Awesome. All right. Another really quick hitter. What's the best thing to do on your off day in the town of Ithaca, New York? Austin, go.
Ooh, I like to be outdoors. I love going to either the falls or go like hiking on a bunch of trails. It's probably my favorite thing to do.
I love it. Hayden, what about you?
I actually, this past spring, I got into a bunch of golf with my buddies. So we went and played on a couple courses up at Ithaca.
That's great. What's your best club?
Oh, best club? I mean, 7-iron's so consistent, but we're still working on the game as a whole.
All right. Colin, what about you? Best thing to do in Ithaca?
Watch the sunset at Stewart Park right over the lake. Absolutely beautiful. One of the best views you'll get in the entire city.
That's phenomenal. With it, a lot of different answers here. Very well-rounded towns. That's great. So let's pivot a little bit and talk academics. So I think we got a really cool mix where Hayden, obviously you're a finance guy, Colin's in the sport management program, and Austin, you're a PT guy. So why don't we start off with Colin here? What kind of drew you to our sport management program, and how has that program helped you in kind of facilitating what you want to do in the future?
So the sport management program here at Ithaca is one of the best in the country. The level of experiences the program grants is second to none. So this past February, I was actually part of the lucky group that got to go work the Super Bowl down in Phoenix. And like when I was getting recruited, like just like I knew I knew I wanted to work in sports. I didn't know whether it was business side or coaching yet. And like the ability to get that level of access and have those experiences is something that drew me to this place.
That's awesome. It's all about practical experience, getting you ahead of the competition. Absolutely. Hayden, what about you on the finance side of things?
Yeah, so when I was looking through a lot of schools I was looking at didn't necessarily have a actual business school. So Ithaca having like its own business school with all kinds of different concentrations and both being accounting or business administration and having their separate concentrations from there really drew me to it because I knew I was really interested in finance and accounting. And so that's where I am now. And Ithaca offered the ability for me to do a double major here and kind of pursue that.
That's great. With it. Awesome. What about you? Talk a little bit about the PT program.
Okay, so Ithaca has a special program with the PT that there's only like a handful of schools around the nation that do it. And it's a 3+3 DPT program, which essentially allows you to complete like your grad school through only 6 years instead of 8, like most degrees, and allows you to start doing your major courses earlier. So that was like a big draw for me, was being able to stay in the same place through like my whole career and not have to like apply for grad school and go through that whole process of like moving to a different school, going somewhere else. So this way I'm able to stay in one place that I know and like I love, and then I'm able to start doing my major sooner and get into the workforce faster.
That's awesome. Again, just like Colin said, getting you ahead of the competition. That's perfect. All right, last quick hitter. What was your favorite part of last season? Hayden, go.
I mean, it had to be Yankee Stadium, right? I mean, being in front of 40,000 fans and everything, it was just electric. Something is really cool to be a part of.
Hard to beat that. Biggest little game in America. Colin, what about you?
I would say besides the Cortica at Yankee Stadium, I would have to say beating Union for the Liberty League championship. That was something as a team we'd set our goal for so long, and we would just come just short of it. And just to finally realize that goal was like the feeling of an accomplishment that I'd been building for 4 years, and like just especially as a team. Like so, I'd have to cap that as one of, if not the best moment from last season.
That's awesome. With it. I love it. Awesome. What about you?
I would totally agree with those, but then also like an extra personal thing for me is I'm originally from Illinois, and so when we got to go back to play North Central in the playoffs, I was able to go like back home, and actually the quarterback for North Central was my high school quarterback, so being able to like meet with him after the game and stuff and just like see some friends was really like a unique experience for me.
Absolutely. Full circle moment with it. All right. Awesome. Well, let's start to wrap it up here. We'll have one last question for you guys. So obviously people that, hey, we're from everywhere, but now we're all congregated up in the Northeast together. What does your future plans look like for it? Are you now, hey, I might want to stay up here in the Northeast. I saw what it's like. Or are you going to kind of disperse back where you came from with it? Colin, let's start with you. What are you planning for after college?
So I'm personally trying to get into coaching. So that's, as you know, it's a profession that you kind of go to a lot of different places. So for me, I'm not set on any specific area. I'm sure I'd love to go back home to Midwest. I'd love to stay up here in Ithaca. I'm just wherever fate takes me, I'll be ready for.
Modern nomads. I like it. Austin, what about you?
Oh, I'd really like to go out west. I'm a big outdoors guy, so a place like Colorado, Wyoming, I think would be perfect for me. Just outdoorsy area, lots of stuff to do, and also for PT, being able to work with lots of active people, see different ways of life, different lifestyles.
100%. All right, Hayden, finish us off here.
Yeah, so I mean, I obviously have long way to go still and everything, but I think I may end up in maybe New York City or something like that, because I know both Max Perry and AJ Wingfield are similar majors as me, and they're both ending up there next year. So maybe end up there, maybe end up back near home, or maybe I'm out west like Bush or something like that. But just wherever I have a good opportunity.
No doubt. That's great. And I think really the main idea is taking people from all over the country and bringing them up to Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York, which is a really special place. And you get to experience a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures. And that's a really good thing. It really sets you up for life. So I'd like to thank the three of you. Thank you guys so much for doing this, and go Bombers.
Go Bombers.
Go Bombers.